Hi guys, how are you? Hope you're good. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode of Occupational Health and Safety Made Easy, OHS Made Easy. It's always a joy just to share some of these principles with you, learn from you as you learn from me, and hopefully we benefit from each other. My name is jasperndebele from Debele and Partners. I'll be taking you through this section. Today's episode, we're looking at section 17 of the OHS Act. We've been going through different sections of the Act, from section 1, which looks at definitions, section 7, safety policy, section 8, duties of employers, section 9, duties of non-employees or employers to non-employees, section 10, duties of manufacturers, 13, duty to inform, 14, duties of employees, 15, duties not to interfere, 16, duties of the CEO. Now we're looking at the safety reps. So I'll do it in two parts. This particular episode, it should be episode what? 15. So episode 15, I'll do part 1 of the issue of safety reps. Then episode 16, I'll do part 2 as well, looking at the duties. Now let's just jump right into it and see how far we can go. Right, section 17 of the Act speaks of 6 main things which we need to implement and be aware of as employers, as safety reps, when it comes to, as employers and as safety officers, when it comes to issues to do with what? With the safety rep. And I just want to ventilate those aspects. Number 1, the Act is clear under section 17 that if an employer has more than 20 employees in his employment, that's the first part which you read on 17.1. If an employer has more than 20 employees in their employment, so it's written in lots of English, but I'll just say it out in simple English, then you can go and reread it and understand it together with my explanation. The Act is saying that if an employer, your company, has more than 20 employees in his employment, the Act says within 4 months, you must appoint someone or people to be safety reps. So once you have more than 20 employees, someone must be appointed as a safety rep to represent those employees when it comes to issues of health and safety. This is a person not representing the employer, not representing the manager, representing the employees. I've attended certain companies and audited them. And one of the things I ask them is, who appointed you as a safety rep? And they say, my manager appointed me. Would have contravened section what? Section 17.1. So safety reps, they represent employees. So once a workplace has more than 20 employees within 4 months, someone must be appointed from that group to be a what? To be a safety rep. As the number of employees exceed 20, or as the case may be, and then designate that person to be a safety rep in writing for a specific period, and that person will be a safety rep. Then it also says on 17.1, or for different sections. For some companies, you can have a company which is divided into sections: production area, admin area, dispatch and warehousing, and then maybe security and whatever. So you can appoint, even if each section is less than 20, you can appoint one, and have a safety rep for someone to represent each section. That's what the Act is talking about when it says you can appoint for different sections thereof. So it's either you can appoint a safety rep in the case where there are more than 20 employees in a particular workplace. So if the admin building has got more than 20 employees, there must be a safety rep for the admin building. If the warehouse has got more than 20 employees, there must be a safety rep for the warehouse. If the production has got more than 20 employees, there must be what? A safety rep. If outside area has 12 employees, but because it's a separate entity, separate area, you can also appoint. That's what we mean when we say, as the case may be. Appoint where they exceed 20 employees, or as the case may be. So sometimes you may have less, but you are able to appoint. That's what we mean by that. That's 17.1. 17.2 says, an employer and his employees and their representatives shall consult in good faith regarding the arrangements and procedures for the nomination and election period of office and subsequent designation of health and safety reps. Now, safety reps, there must be consultation in good faith, meaning to say that before we appoint a safety rep, before we say this is how we're going to do this health and safety rep business, there must be an agreement between the employer and the employees or the employee reps, which are your shop steward or unions. So what you'll be agreeing upon is how are we going to do this thing? How are we going to elect these safety reps? How are we going to nominate them? How are we going to choose them? How long will they be in office as safety reps? How often will they meet? How will they do their duties? There must be an agreement in good faith. And 17.2 also mentions that if ever there is no agreement between the employer and the employee reps, then you can take it to Department of Labor and they'll arbitrate and their decision will be final. That's what 17.2 is basically talking about. 17.3, 17.4 critical. It says only people in full-time capacity can be nominated and elected as a safety rep. So you don't nominate and elect a casual or someone who's there part-time or whatever. We want permanent employees. That's what 17.4 requires in the Act. 17.5 then talks of how if the number of health and safety reps for a workplace or section X in the case of a shop or office, you can have at least one person for every 100 employees. And then a safety rep for any other workplace, you can have one safety rep for more than whenever there is at least every 50 employees or part thereof. So that's it's just a differentiation between a shop or an office setup where it's low risk. So you don't need many safety reps there. You can just work with just those numbers. Says there you can have this setup provided that those employees performing work at the workplace other than where they ordinarily report for duty shall be deemed to be working in the workplace where they so report for duty. So this aspect is just simply saying you cannot have someone who is working at the admin building, they go and be a safety rep for people who work at the warehouse. No. People who work at the warehouse must nominate and elect their own safety rep. People who work in production must nominate and elect their own safety reps. You cannot have someone moving from one department to go and be a representative of employees in another department. He is not aware or alive to the challenges and the conditions of the other employees in the other department. So we want someone who is working in that department to be nominated and elected as a safety rep for that particular department. That's what we're talking about here. And then 17.6 says if an inspector is of the opinion that the number of health and safety reps for any workplace or section thereof, including a workplace or section with 20 or fewer employees, is inadequate, he may notice in writing and instruct the employer to just appoint some more. So if a Department of Labor inspector comes through and feels that, yeah, the Act says if you have more than 20, then have a safety rep. But here, yes, you have got more than 20 but less than 50, but I think you should have 3 safety reps for this area. There are some workshops where there's lots of machinery, welding, cutting, etc., grinding, and there's a lot happening. And they are just, let's say 30 people, where in law you should have one, but safety rep, but Department of Labor inspector can say, nope, here guys, let's have more because we have got, it's a big workshop and it has got lots of high risk. Let's have a little bit more. He may request that in writing. And then lastly, the Act in 17.7 says there, all activities in connection with the designation, functions, and training of the health and safety rep shall be performed during ordinary working hours and at any reasonably spent by any employee in this regard shall, for all purposes and intents, deemed to be part-time or to be time spent by him carrying out his duties as an employee. So you can have a person who's employed as a welder, and at the same time they are concurrently appointed as a safety rep. Now when they do and discharge their duties as a safety rep, we don't say, you did welding 6 hours and you did safety rep for 2 hours, so you owe the company 2 hours. No. That work which they did as a safety rep, as long as it's a reasonable amount of time, is regarded as part of their duties. So safety reps are appointed in writing. Whatever they do, they are doing it as part of their duties. This kicks in a lot, especially when it's a time of attending safety committees, because some safety committees can take half a day, in some places a full day, etc. Sometimes they have to go for training. And all these activities where we send them for training, they attend safety committee meetings, etc. It is deemed as part of their duties and part of their day-to-day function. So that's the first part concerning Section 17 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act, just ventilating the how of how safety reps function, and that's very, very critical. Does that make sense, guys? Hope it does. Feel free to get in touch. Comment on the comment section. Let's talk, let's engage. I love to talk, I love to engage, I love to learn as well from you. Please, let's do that. If you need any training, like I always say, get in touch with us, support us. We'll give sterling, perfect, good service. Our company has got 4 values. I just thought to share this. 4 C's of our company when you deal with us. Number 1, convenience. Training or services we offer will be done at your convenience. It can be done online, it can be done in person. We can come to your premises, we can do it in our premises. Number 2, compliance. We value compliance. We've got all accreditations to do these trainings legally. Number 3, class. We do top of the range. As you can see from what I'm sharing with you here, this is what you'll see in the trainings. And I do most and some of the training. That's very, very important. And then competence. We value competence as a business, and we want to make sure that we give you the best of service, and you are trained by competent guys who know their staff. Hence, we are sharing with you some of these things free of charge, because we know our staff. It's not even hard work to do this. It's hard work because I'm committing time and effort, but I'm saying when I then get into the groove of it, it's not like I'm creating huge presentations. I know this thing, it's internalized. I'm a subject matter expert, so we value competence. Get in touch with us. We'll help your company, help your business you're working for, and we'll submit a no obligation quote just to deal with